Outer Orange. Welcome back, card gamers. Welcome to something a little bit different today. As you see, I do have a chat with me today. We are doing the top 8. That's right, you heard it. The top 8 deck profile. I recently just went to Springfest with my homie Yellow and Wolf. That's right, Yellow and Wolf, we went all together. We went to Springfest. We topped day 1 and then we topped day 2. And today I'm going to be showing you guys specifically the top 8 Refi Prism deck that I took. Personal little creation. I spent months crafting this. I'm really excited to show you guys pretty much how it all went. Literally live. Never done something like this before, so I'm really excited to show you guys the full Refi. I've had a lot of people ask me kind of the synergy and the kind of like how this deck works, what its functionality is. I've explained pieces and parts, but I've never really given like a full-on deck breakdown because I've been obviously testing it this whole time. So today we'll be doing that breakdown. Don't know how long it's gonna take the y'all that are on Twitch. I'm sorry, the YouTube players will get the cut version, you know, the nice, neater version. So good luck, y'all. Let's go and get this profile going. Top 8, let's go. Thank you, team. Let's go, team. Team, Springfest, team. Yeah. So we're here with the mats. I got my sleeves. So before we start the profile, you guys know how this works. Gotta talk about my deck box. Boom! Deck box! Look at that. So I actually just got this. Really big into cats. So this is the deck box that I used for my prism. And then the sleeves, a lot of people thought I took Grand Blue actually because of the sleeves, but the sleeves I am using is actually the Card 5 Vanguard G sleeves right here. Show you guys nice up and close and personal. Really super cute. Hardcore Rose is her name, is actually the person that sent me this. She sent me some SPs of Grand Blue and she sent me these sleeves along with them. So that's exactly what I used. I'm going to break down the cards. I'm going to try and doing this in an order where it makes the most sense because there's a couple cards in particular that's a little bit harder to kind of break down until you see the whole profile. So I'll try and kind of go through it. Starting with the grade 4s. This is gonna be the weirdest one because I get this question a lot. Probably the question I get the most. Now I'll have to answer this question in particular at the very end or towards the end of the profile, but I run 4 Nectarius. This is Legendary Prism Duo Nectaria. This is a grade 4 Prism unit. I run 4 copies. Most people run 2, 3. 4 is a really weird number, and for number 1 question I get asked is, why in the world do you run 4 Nectarias? I'm gonna have to explain that question in a little bit. Once I have the whole deck profile, I'll explain why I run 4 because it'll make more sense once you actually see the full list. So I'm gonna go ahead, run 4 Nectarias. She has a couple skills here. Her first skill says you could bind her from your hand to then grab another normal unit from your deck and bind it. So pretty much essentially you bind her and then you go and bind another normal unit. It can be any normal unit. It does not have to be a Prism unit. This is extremely important, and she does have a secondary skill, but she's not here for secondary skill. Her secondary skill says if there's another copy of herself bound, she gets 10k, and if she's on Vanguard, she gets she gets a triple drive and a crit. We're not ever using her for that skill, but she does have that skill. Maybe in the future there might be some use for her there, but that is the Legendary Prism Duo Nectaria. I do have a couple grade 3s. Let's go ahead and get started with Vert herself. We have nice solid 4 copies of Vert. I have all the different rarities of her. I got the swimsuit rarity, the regular rarity, and then like her SP version pretty much right there. But this is Prism Image Vert, the boss unit of your deck, the literal meat and bones that makes this engine work all well together. She has a couple skills. She has a first skill that says you could Soul Blast, bind a card from the drop or your rear guard circles. Don't forget about that. That is very important. And you get a triple drive. So that's essentially her first skill. And then she has a secondary skill. When you attack with her, you can counter blast 1 card, and then you can call 1 Prism unit if your opponent is not on grade 3, or 2 different named Prism units if you guys are on grade 3. So essentially you can have multi attacks. You have your Vert here. Oh, you bounce and call. So you attack with your rear guards, attack with her, counterblast, bounce these 2, and then recall 2 more out that are different card names from your bind zone. So enabling pretty much 5 attacks. Pretty much the aggression here, you can attack 5 times. You get some power-ups off of the other Prism units. She pretty much just gets very lethal very fast. You bounce stuff back to hand. By the way, you can bounce anything back to hand with her. This includes perfect guards, triggers, whatever you want, you can bounce to hand. It is insanely useful, a very amazing skill, and very fun to utilize. And the triple drive on top of that just kind of kills it. It takes it over the edge. But that is our little lovely Vert. We're gonna go ahead and put her up here, right here. Y'all ready for it? You think it's Anj, right? It's actually Refi. This is the single quiet Referardi. I call her Refi for short. This is your I win harder, I win faster button that I run in my deck as a way to deal with mirror matches. So this is the beginning of the spice that we're starting here. This card says you can counterblast, discard a card, rest her to then get 2 extra force markers if you don't have 4, and you pretty much put him on rearguard circles, and then you get a drive based off how many rearguards have force markers on them. So you pretty much put like a force marker, a force marker, a force marker, and then you get 3 triple drives essentially. And with that being said, you can hyper speed into vert. So what happens is you ride her first if you're going first. This is best when you're going first. If you're going second, you can just use her as a bind target. When you go first, you pretty much ride her, do her skill, get the triple drive, get the force markers, then you ride into vert, and vert will give you another force marker, so you have 4 force markers on your turn. I've talked about this to a lot of people. One of the biggest weaknesses to vert is not seeing another force marker. If you're stuck on 1 force marker, your numbers are extremely small, but when you have 4 force markers swinging at your opponent, that is really dangerous. You are swinging for 40, 50, 60, 70, 80k, and all you have to do is just ride this card first. This is pretty much your I win faster button. It fulfills the same role as Anj. The only difference between this and Anj is that Anj is the safer choice. Anj is less risky. Anj lets you bounce, lets you recall on play skills, all this stuff, even lets you deck them a little bit. This card does not do that. This card is all force because she goes in with the triple drive. Even though you rest herself, she gives you the force markers, etc., but you do have to come in from hand if you don't hit your other stuff early. Thus being said, this is the more dangerous and high roll pick, but it will win you the game like 3 times faster. Every single time I rode this card first and went into vert, I've won the game every single time, and she has definitely come in clutch as well. So that is our grade 3. So talk about grade 2s, because this is when the spice just gets deeper and deeper. Let's go ahead and start with the more basic stuff. So we're going to start with the 4 copies of Rosa. So this is Prism Image Rosa. Her skill is very simple. When placed, counterblast, look at top 7 cards of your deck, get 2 prism units, put 1 to hand, 1 to the bind zone, shuffle your deck. Very simple first skill. Second skill says from bind, if she's playing from bind, pretty much through bird skill, she gives front row 10k, which makes it very good for the triple drive, makes very good for this because this also gains numbers by herself. Pretty much just an overall searching / aggressive engine, just a very solid pick. It's pretty much your prism engine. You need her. She's really freaking good. Definitely a go-to card. This is probably the card that you will always constantly use. It's just it's one of the best cards in the deck. 4 copies of Super Idol Riviere. Now this is like the weird stuff. Why run this? She has a couple skills. She says from hand, if your Vanguard is a grade 2, you could ride this card, draw a card, and then pop out grade 1 Rivieres. They're called Mermaid Idol Rivieres. You call them from soul to the rearguard circle. So essentially what you may be thinking, well, when will this condition ever apply? Well, what you can do is on turn 2, you can ride your Rosa, use Rosa's skill to counterblast, look at top 7, get your prism units, and then you can ride this on top, and then you can grab the grade 1s. I'll show you what they look like since obviously they're in the deck. You grab your grade 1s and then you pop them out. So now you have 2 free units on the board, and neither engines bother each other, so you can just sort of kind of do this. She does have a secondary skill, but that's not what she's in here for. Her secondary skill says when your Vanguard Riviere attacks, you can restand her, but obviously we're never doing that. But she was fulfill another condition that is in regards to Nectaria. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. So Aqua is still a really solid card. I wish I could run for her. I just don't have the room for her. Aqua says when placed, balance a card from the board to hand, draw a card, discard a cards, and then you pretty much, that's all she does. It's a hard ones per turn. She also gets 5k if something's behind her. So if you have something like this, you have the rear guard, she gets 5k, you know, just really nice. She's the beater. I just run her as another extra clutch engine. In actuality, the slot could be a lot of things, but I just prefer it to be the most consistent, so I think this is just a consistent engine, so I run the Aquas. This is Prism Image Clear, similar to our Rosa, similar to kind of, you know, the Prism engine we have going on here. Her skill says on Vanguard Circle, when placed, look at top 7 cards of your deck and take anything that's not a grade 1 and pretty much put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. So essentially you can grab a 2, a 3, and a 4. So you can grab 2, 3, 4. And then her secondary skill, when placed from bind zone, you can bind another prism from drop to get additional 10k and a draw. So very another very solid engine. Another thing you can use when you multi-attack with vert. Just another very crucial piece in your engine here. You want to hit it. This searches this out, this and this out. So essentially this searches all these 3 and this searches any of these. So they pretty much just all search each other. Just very solid stuff. Very busted. So this is the Mermaid Idol Riviere. We kind of brought her up a little bit with the grade 2, but here's the grade 1 version. Her skill says from hand, Soul Blast, ride this card on top of grade 1 unit, so you can ride her on top of clear. This is essential. This is the most probably important part. So let me explain the skill and then I'll explain how this interaction kind of goes hand in hand with this. So her skill says Soul Blast, ride her on top, look at top 7 cards for Riviere, so you can grab either herself or you can grab the grade 2. And then if you Soul Blasted the starter, let me find the starter real quick. This is the starter. You draw a card. Why is this important? Well, one of the hardest conditions to meet in Prism is having a Prism unit in your drop. Well, guess what? You can get a Prism unit in your drop on the very first turn. Hear me out. You ride clear, top 7, get your unit. Ride Riviere, top 7, get your unit. Soul Blast your starter. Draw a card, which by the way, you can draw to Nectaria, which is perfect. Then you ride on top of the Riviere unit, Soul Blast the grade 1. So you're gonna Soul Blast this. Boom. Your clear is now in your drop and now ready and set up and ready to go. Why is that important? Because on grade 3, you have to have a Prism unit in your drop to do full skill, and then her skill herself indicates that you have to have a Prism unit drop to get her draw. So essentially you have to have 2 Prism units in drop ready to go. You can get 1 from Soul, but you can only get 1 from Soul, and that's literally it. So you need a way to get another one. So you either have to guard or you have to do something to get there. This is one of the fastest and easiest ways to do this. This is actually insane. There's so many times where I Soul Blast this card out and then I guard with like a grade 2, or if I ride up to Rosa, I Soul Blast the Rosa with Vert skill to then bind the Rosa, and now I'm still set up because now I have this, I have everything set up. My entire prison engine from turn 1 is ready to go. It's the most high rollest part of this, but when you hit it, it is the most nicest and greatest feeling on top of your life. On top of the fact, this extra draw you get early, there are so many times where I draw into Nectaria, and then you know what I do with the Nectaria? After I'm done doing this entire search, because this is like the crucial part, I bind Riviere units. Why would I ever do that? Well, guys, where do I have a tale for you? There's a reason why. So the way this works is after you meet your conditions. So say you do the clear, you ride up with clear, you ride up with Riviere, you do your thing and all that stuff. Now you know you're not going to be using the grade 1s anymore. They're done. Like, you're not using them anymore. Their skills are dead. Bind them. Why would you bind them? Because then when you ride on Rosa, Counterblast, you have a higher chance of successfully hitting Prism units from this point on, because you used her skill to bind these out of decks, to then you can use this skill to search out these engines. So you're not only going to hit your triggers faster, you're going to hit your entire engine faster. And if you hit your entire engine faster, it means you're deck thinning faster. If you're deck thinning faster, you're going to be hitting crits faster. It's pretty much just an engine that you could start literally on turn 1, and the faster you draw, the faster you get it. On top of that, as you ride from this into this, from this into this, you are going through so much of your deck so fast. This card is not a once per turn card. You can keep riding her. As long as you keep drawing her, you can keep riding this exact same card. So you can keep going, and then you get 2 free units to the board. They stay back there. They are 10k boosters in the back row. So on top, so you just like are filtering crazy. Then you go into this card after you already popped these out. You don't even have to commit anything. If you draw into this, then you draw into this, it's just game over. Like, this is like the cherry on top. But that is pretty much kind of like the engine that works. Now here's another thing you can do. Say you get your Nectaria like a little bit later. So you get your Nectaria on this turn. You can choose to bind this. You can choose to bind these, because this card is the most dead. These are the 2 cards that are the most pretty much dead. If you're not going first, this card's dead. If you're after your grade 2 turn, this card is absolutely dead. It's just a 5k shield at this point. Bind it. Get it out of your deck. Now keep in mind, you do have to be cautious. You do want to make sure your bind zone obviously has Prism units, so of course be cautious how you bind. But as long as you have consistently the 2, the 1, and this, at least this binds itself, you always have this. But as long as you have this engine at some way, shape, or form, either through soul or whatever, through Vert skill, you can bind whatever you want. So just bind the 2 cards that matter the least in your deck. This is shield, so this is a little bit more of importance, but this card is literally useless. Just bind her. Get her out of your deck and just hit your Prism units and call it a day. So Spiana is your counter charger. She is just like, she pretty much just says when placed, you can return a grade 3 on rear guard. If it's on rear guard or fan, to your deck and counter charge, you can return grade 3 heal guardians with this, so do that. You can return verts if you want to just hit them again with Rosa. I usually hold off on this card until I can do a heal condition. Sometimes on a rare occasion I'll do this if I really need a counter charger, but normally it's really there to just return heals. So I run 3 of her. She's just a perfect fit. She fits in well. And last but not least, at least with the normal units, I run 3 Sednas. Sedna is just like, I really wish I could run 4 of her just because it is very versatile. Let me explain to you guys something about heal guardians that you may or may not know. Right now we are in a meta where seeing at least 1 heal guardian, especially if you're going second, is really crucial. So you really want to maximize on your grade 3 searches as much as possible. You'll notice a lot of the winning decks do have a maximum of 4, and it's either because they need to see their grade 3 or they want to see a heal guardian in case they need to deal with some early aggression. A good example is Astro Poet's an extremely aggressive deck. You want to see at least one Heal Guardian. So I highly recommend maxing these at 4. I'm just that idiot that has them at 3 because I literally don't have deck space. I tried with 4 and I had to cut back on this. And the minute I cut back on this entire engine fell apart. So I said, screw it. I'll just deal with 3. So I've been running her at 3. It's also a 13k booster, you know, all that fun stuff. You want to run 4 crits. And then you want to run 4 more on top of that. So 4 more crits. And then you want to have some PGs. Because PGs are nice. They're nullifiers. They're draw PGs. They're important. So here's the PGs. Guardians that we just talked about. I'll put them up here because they're grade 3s. So there's the Heal Guardians. And boom. That's your deck. That's your deck right here. And then of course we have our starter. Don't forget your quick shield. There's my quick shield. And just for this special occasion, don't forget your mascot. This is my mascot. This is my little Joker mascot. I took him to the entire event. I got a lot of people going, oh my god, it's Persona. He's always been my mascot. This is the card that I always bring with me anytime I go to locals and stuff like that. He's always in my pile with all my force markers and all that stuff. So it's just my homie. For this particular deck, you usually want to go Force 1. Force 1, Force 2 argument. This is definitely a Force 1 deck. I don't think I've ever seen a Prism player go Force 2. I really don't see a reason to ever go Force 2. Your numbers don't get high enough. You would have to constantly go into Nectaria to even keep up with numbers. Force 1 is definitely the way to go. And that's pretty much that. Now let me show you guys the kind of like the combo that I was talking about, the really crazy deck thinning combo. So let me go ahead and kind of put some of this aside and then we can do that. Pretty much you start your turn, you draw a card. So this is our hand right now. You right clear. You use her skill to look at top 7. 5. Oh, these sleeves are slippery, so that's 7. Grab the 2 since that's the only thing we can grab. So that's search number 1. And then I'm gonna draw for the starter because I did draw. And then we're going to go into Revere. So we'll use Revere's skill here. Soul Blast. Look at top 7 again. 1, 2, 3. Wow, 4. Oh my gosh. These sleeves are so slippery. 5, 6. 7. So we did hit the Riviere, so we're gonna get the Riviere, shuffle our deck. Gonna put it to hand, use the second part of the skill since we Soul Blasted a starter, draw another card. Now I'm gonna be the high roll queen. I'm gonna go again. Soul Blasting that clear that I was talking about, and then we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, so we actually have options here. Let me think. I think I'm gonna grab the grade 1. Just so we can just further filter. So this is what kept happening. This is how my turn 1 went all the time. You can only imagine how many people got salty after I'm sitting here doing this for like 2 minutes of just straight searching. So we do that, grab the 1, ride the 1, Soul Blast this out. Here we go again, guys. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We do whiff this time. No grade 2 seen here. That's fine. So we do our thing. Shuffle, shuffle. Give them pass turn. They give us a damage. We take the damage. Oh look, a trigger. Crazy. Never would have seen that happening. Draw a card. And then they pass turn. We draw. What did I draw? So here's my hand again, just so you guys can see the full interaction here. By the way, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Am I counting that right? Yeah, 7, 8, 9 card hand. 9 card hand, by the way. This is normal. Anyway, so we'll ride this. Counterblast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, look at all these options. So we'll probably grab the 2 and the 1 in this case. So there we go, doing that. We're gonna shuffle again. Probably bring this to hand, bind this card over there, since we already have the 1 present over here. Next, we're gonna ride the Riviere on top, draw a card. Oh, look, another Riviere. Pop these 2 out. So they get popped. So you can kind of decide where you want to pop them. You can pop them like this, whatever you want. Do that. Oh, look, we have another Riviere. Draw another card. Boom, shakalaka, bang time. So just like that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards in hand. We have a binded unit. We have a clear in our drop ready for vert. We have 2 free units to the board, and we could push here if you want. You know, you can call out like a grade 1, you know, whatever for the top 3 surge if you want to do that. Oh, look, another vert, more deck thinning. You can grab a heal guardian if you want. Whatever you need that you want to grab, you can do it. In this case, I'm actually going to grab the verts, and I'm actually going to discard the verts because we already have a vert. We have 2 verts, so I'm going to discard her. So now we have yet another prism unit set up and drop. You can keep it this way. You can swing for 20 here. These get 2k in the back row. Oh, look, another trigger. Crazy. Like, I'm not even, I swear, I'm literally doing nothing. Put all effects here, draw a card. Then this will be swinging for 28 at their Vanguard. They do whatever, you do your thing, then you go again, another trigger. Like this is our hand right now. We have a 11 card hand. We have 11 card hand and we just started. The only thing I haven't seen yet is Nectaria actually. So yeah, then you do your thing, you know, right up to verts. Keep it simple, get your force markers, and then from here on out it's just a normal game. From here on out, this is when your stuff gets normal. You get your marker. You get your marker, put it wherever, and then this is when the game becomes a prism game again. So essentially you call something out. Like I normally like to call vert out because it's just real higher numbers. So I'll usually call vert out at this point. I'll use vert skill. I'll soul blast this 2 to then bind the 1. I did go first this game, so I'm gonna go bind this. I'll bind the 1 over here, and then yeah, you don't even have to do anything else. Like I wouldn't even call anything. I would keep this fat, beautiful hand in my hand, and I would just start swinging here. Like I would just actually, I was already too late. I would probably be better if I put the force marker here. You can kind of choose how you want to swing, but you have 2 options. You can swing like this, don't boost, and make your clear bigger, or you can make the vert bigger and make the clear smaller, but I think this is the better alternative. So you swing for 13, then you swing for 23, then you swing with your Vanguard, you counterblast, you bounce these 2 cards back to hand. You can only call 1 because we're going first, so you bind this, put this over here, draw yet another card, and then you swing in. This is, by the way, 23 already. This has an extra 10k on it, and yeah, you just go in. You check 1, check 2, check 3. Actually pretty blanky checks there, but you know what, that's cool. And then you just swing with this. This is a pretty annoying number right here. This is already 18, 28, 38 to your opponent's Vanguard, so yeah. And then you just pass turn, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 cards in hand, just like that. So you're sitting pretty good. Because you decked in a lot. You hit your triggers early or late, however you get them. We have a heal in hand, we got a crit in hand, we have our Nectaria, we have ride targets, you have everything you need. You can honestly probably, oh look, a trigger. You could probably take damage here, do whatever, maybe stay on 2, or you could go to 3, whatever you want to do, and then you can just go do your turn again and just do it all over again, because from here it's just a normal game. Here I would Nectaria, so I haven't seen her like pretty much all this entire time, but you would Nectaria here. I would still grab the Grade 2 Riviers in this game, just because you can look through your deck a little bit and kind of see what you have left. I have a lot of Prism units still left in deck, so I'm actually still gonna try and at least search for them with the Rosa. So yeah, you counterblast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We do hit a clear. In this case, it just makes more sense to just bind the clear that you get off of the search, just to make it a little bit easier. And then yeah, then you do vert skill, so blast a vert, bind a verts. This case, the verts get bound, and then yeah, you just call. Maybe you want to call a booster back here. You know, do whatever. Call a booster. Do the search again. Should whiff the search. Yeah, I don't think I have any more grade 3s. And then yeah, and you just go in again. You go in again. That's pretty much it. Swing in, swing in. You can boost, not boost, depending on the situation. Counterblast, bounce them back. Your fat ass hand. Call these out. I mean, sorry. Whoopsie. Call this out. Call this out. I am holding Spiana, so you can actually get away with counterblasting again here. I'm gonna do the search first. So search. Top 7 again. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This time we hit both Nectarias. So 1 gets bound, 1 gets put to hand. And yeah, this will be pretty lethal. You have the front on, so this is going to be 33 to your opponent's Vanguard, and then yeah, you just do your checks. Check 1. Oh, surprise, surprise, it's a trigger. Put all here. Actually, that was a pretty bad check. But it's okay. Our hand is like disastrously massive. Probably would have healed. I probably would have guarded somewhere. And then yeah, you just go swing, or swing here first for lethal, whatever. And then yeah, it's their turn. You can guard. You can perfect guard. You can heal guard, you could trigger guard. The shield is actually pretty insane here. You know, drop whatever you need and go again, and you'll probably win the game on this one. Whatever this ends up being. Oh, it heals on top anyway. Would have healed out of it in case it was like super weirdly lethal. Sending heals back to deck. Most people know about this, but there might be someone out there that doesn't. So say you're in a situation where you do have the 5 face down, and you're like, uh-oh, what do I do? Well, that is perfectly okay. You do vert skill first. You soul blast the vert, bind this grade 1 right here. Then you call out, actually, then you call this out. get that settled. So let's pick something in here to bind. We are officially, look at this freaking, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 triggers left in deck, and we're about to bind this just to make it even tighter on that type of scale. And we're gonna add a heal right now. So we're gonna call a heal, and then we're gonna call over, we'll call over this Riviere, call this Spiana, target a heal. So we're gonna target this heal, target the heal on our drop, which is right here. So you're gonna target that. So the skill is you counter charge. So here we go, counter charging. This gets sent back to deck. So now there's 7 triggers in my deck out of my very pretty tight deck here. And then if you're going for full lethal, I would honestly call over this. Call this here, use her skill to then again look at top 5. Look at all the triggers. Of course we whiff. Nothing too surprising there. And then again, you pretty much go in here, you have your counter blast, you swing, you probably will swing boosted here. This one maybe you leave not boosted. Then you use Vert's skill again. Did I soul blast with her skill? I don't think I soul blasted with her skill. Let me soul blast with her skill real quick. There. Anyway, so yeah, you swing with her. This will again be the same thing. You bounce these 2 back to hand. Call 2. This, when you go for lethal, you might as well call out the grade 4. The grade 4 can come out here. So you call the grade 4, call the grade 2. Grade 4 gains power. Grade 2 gains power with the front act. Well, the front gets power. And then you swing again for 33 for a triple drive. Oh, a heal. Crazy. Never would have seen that coming. So it's not like I have all 3 of them in deck. Give power here because this one's already pretty high. Do a second check. Oh, a crit. All effects here. Now it has a crit on it. Oh, another heal. Oh, we get to heal again. Oh no. I don't even know if we would heal at this point, but if we do, hallelujah, we just healed. Power here. Power here. And boom, just like that. If they said 3 to pass, go all in. Go all in. Go all in, boys and girls. Go all in. And then yeah, so this column is 23, 33, 43, 53, and this column is 14, 24, 34, 44, 54, 64, 74 to your opponent's Vanguard. And yeah, and this has a crit on it, so they'll probably die here. And yeah, that's the deck. That's the full-on game and everything. I showed y'all the counter charging, showed y'all the Riviere binding. The Nectarias came a little late. Sometimes the Nectarias come a little bit earlier, so I start the binds a little bit sooner. This game particularly, I started them a little bit later, at least with the grade 4. But as you saw, still came through. We still had plenty more of beautiful triggers coming in the face, and that's pretty much the whole deck. And then she's rested, and you pretty much do a triple check. So you do something like this, and then you activate the triggers afterwards. So in this case, you would put 10k and you heal. And then after that, you pretty much just go into battle. So this will be like whatever it is, and then this will be kind of stupidly high. So this will be like, this will be 18, 20, 30, 40, and then with triggers, it could go 50, 60, whatever it is. And then this one's the smaller one. And then when your opponent gives you damage or whatever, you do whatever your thing, and then you just go straight into verts. You just ride verts, get yourself yet another force marker, and you should kill on this turn. You will probably kill on this turn. You usually give the force marker to wherever you don't have the double. So usually you'll kill it here. You put it here, and then you move her back, you know, get yourself like a unit over here. And then yeah, it's the same thing. The only difference between this and the normal vert game plan is now you have 20 extra K on both sides to work with. So this alone will be 30. This will be 20. If you boost, it'll be even higher. This column will be just really huge. Your opponent will usually can't handle it, and they'll usually die. And keep in mind, you'll be multi-attacking since you're going from this into this, so you have your 5 attacks. And yeah, they'll probably die. Often do you see Refi running her at 1 given you run searching cards like Radka? I'm trying to think. I don't see Refi too often. I think with Radka, you'll probably see it a little faster. My deck draws so fast, I'll usually see at least 1 copy. Personally, I actually bind her if I don't use her. I will bind her with Nectaria. If I don't need her, this is the first thing I bind. Like the first thing, before I even touch my Riviere units. If I know I'm not going to go into her this game, I literally go Nectaria, bind something, I bind this. As long as, of course, I have my Prism condition meta. But so that being said, sometimes I don't have to see her. But usually if I need to see her, the Sednas will carry me over, or I'll draw fast enough to where I will see her. I think if you run her at 2, you'll probably see her, but I think at 1, it's a little bit more of a risky play. But yeah, I would think of her as Anj. However often you see Anj is probably however often you'll see Refi. It's the same kind of concept if you think about it. Would you cut another Nectaria? No, I would not. As much as I want to, this deck works so well with the Nectarias at 4. I've cut before, like I've cut for Sedna. I've cut for Sedna and Aqua. and it actually screwed me. I bricked and bricked and bricked and bricked. Like, I used to have full aqua, full sedna. I had only 2 of these because, you know, I wanted to kind of have a more consistent engine over a card that's kind of a deck card. And strangely enough, it just failed me so much because, like, I would miss my searches, I wouldn't see anything in time, my draw was worse. It was crazy. I really can't explain why, but keeping her at 4 has made my entire deck more consistent. As crazy as it sounds. Maybe because I'm not binding prism units and because just with the Refi engine, it just kind of works. But you theoretically, I mean, most people don't run this card at 4. You could easily cut back 1 and run an extra Refi. Would there be any changes you'd make to your list? Currently, no. I have made a lot of changes to this list. Like, I started originally with like grade 3 Reviers in the deck, and then I took that out. Ran the grade 4s, and then I had aquas and sednas, all this other stuff. I think the only thing I could wiggle is maybe Spiana, but even Spiana, I have her currently at 3, but even Spiana, like I feel like you could if I could make a change anywhere, I could probably change this out for either a sedna or a Refi. But I think everything else is just so straightforward that I don't think there's anything else I could change. At least with this specific list, it's really hard. Like, Aqua's really good, Spiana's really good, Sedna's really good, because your tech slots, at least in this deck, is right here. These are your tech slots, because these are the slots that aren't necessarily like doing as much as like this engine is up here, you know. So this would be the place where you can kind of maneuver. I would even say the tech slots kind of stop here. I do think Sedna is too important, at least in current meta, so you can probably move something around here. I have exactly 10 grade 2s, so I kind of need this slot to be a grade 2. This slot can be a little bit more moved around because there's a bunch of grade 1s in the deck, so this slot would probably be the most. I could probably slot one of these out for something else, but that's really it. I think I would stop there. Faced a bunch of people. I've faced my teammate a bunch of times who dealt with lots and lots and lots and lots of prism matchups. So thank you, Yellow. Aggressive play testing, trying to perfect this deck to its peak. So thank you, Yellow. Thank you also, Wolf, who also dealt with my prism matchups. And we were mainly testing for him, but in, you know, while we were testing, I was playing this deck. So, you know, he had to deal with, you know, the BS that this deck provided, and he was very calm and collected about it. So thank you to that, to the people. Thank you, Matt, as well. Melody Matt, I've tested a couple times with as well. So thank you to you as well. And anyone else out there that I've tested with or did some, you know, experimenting with. Noman's up there too, and Noman and I have like theorized some ideas and thoughts behind some stuff. He was one of the people that was like, you should probably put a 4th copy of Sedna in. Don't disagree with him. I did it and then I took it out. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much it for this profile. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you plan on building this deck, I highly recommend it. I think if piloted correctly, this deck is a monster. I was playing Highlander Prism for the longest time, but I actually like this deck even more now, so I'm kind of happy the LE ban happened because it let me find another deck that I just love. With this deck started as a meme months and months and months ago. I created this deck as a joke and then it became reality. A meme to a dream, guys. I'm gonna head out. Thank you for all the fun. Hope this video is not too long. I have no idea. I did explain a lot in here, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for all the congratulations and everybody that supported me. Thank you to my team and thank you for everything. So we're gonna head out. We're gonna say bye to YouTube. Let your memes become dreams. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Make your Rivier deck become a reality. Starting here. Any case, I don't know, I kind of forgot to mention it. Don't forget to shop at 50 Cars, start shop for anything, for any cars that you may need, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. Peace out. That's Vidania. See you guys next time. Bye.
I'm 6 foot. I'm 6 foot. Yeah, 6 foot 10 inches. Heels. No, not heels. All right, we're going to work. Okay, what job am I choosing?